Hey everyone, my name is Artindi, and this is not your typical episode or video that I make on my channel. And I kind of want to do just this unique series a little bit different, a little bit separate from the rest, without taking away from my normal content. This will be just some extra filler in between. I'm going to make it kind of a show and tell. New things that I learn about Godot, just new things that are not worthy of a tutorial, but still something interesting and cool enough to show off. Something that you guys can benefit from, and then at the same time talk about whatever it is that I want to talk about, just because maybe there'll be people out there who enjoy it. If not, then don't watch it, whatever. But this was going to be a I've got your back episode because someone asked a question and I was going to answer that, but it turns out he's really smart and figured it out before I could. But it made me still experiment a little bit, and it was cool enough that I still wanted to make something out of it. So he wanted to know, how can you make the camera follow the mouse? And honestly, at first I was like, that's kind of vague, but I started playing around with it anyway, and he did figure it out, so I didn't have to worry about it too much. I came up with this line of code, not the most genius line of code ever. It's really actually exactly what it is, just the camera position gets the mouse position every frame. So super simple, super easy. Of course, you do have to set the camera to current, otherwise it definitely won't work. And you also have to turn on smoothing. And this is kind of the new thing that I learned about. And this is really awesome. When you have smoothing on and you're giving it the position of the mouse, it has this really cool effect. Let me show you. So as you near the edge, the camera starts to move towards your mouse, and the closer you are to the edge, the faster the camera moves because of smoothing. I'm pretty sure that's why. I'm not really sure how it works, but it works and it's really cool. So here's the drag margin, and here's the next thing that I experimented with. I tried changing the drag margin to 0.9. 1 means it's at the very edge of the screen, so 0.9 gives it kind of a cool edge panning feel, where you go right up close to the edge and it starts to move. You can speed it up a little bit. Let's change it to 50. Speed it up a little bit, and it just moves real quick like that. Ideal for top-down games or city building games or whatever kind of games use edge panning. And I also tried doing it with just the full 1. That would mean it's at the very edge of the thing, but it actually doesn't do anything. It stops working at that point. So the next thing I experimented was with click and move. Simple, made my own custom input and attached the right mouse button to it, and so when I hit the right mouse button, then change the position of the camera. So it looks something like this. Same thing, camera smoothing turned on, and it works really great. This background, by the way, is from the game that I'm making. It's just because if there wasn't a background, you can't tell that anything's moving at all. Okay, next thing I experimented with, and I think all these are really cool, but just fun things to see and learn. I gave the camera an Area 2D node and a collision shape, because that's what Area 2D nodes need, and I hooked up some signals to that, and I also gave a Area 2D node to the mouse. So that Area 2D node is going to get the mouse position so that the area is always on top of the mouse. And so when that mouse position leaves the bigger Area 2D node, the camera's Area 2D node, then update the position of the camera. And you would think that this would work basically the same as the first one, where as the mouse moves closer to the edge, then the camera starts moving. However, it didn't work quite like that at all. In fact, it was very different. It kind of has this skippy feel. And this made me kind of question how it actually works. But I've come to the conclusion that smoothing works on the camera 2D node because those are parameters of that node, but it doesn't work on its children because they don't have smoothing. There's no smoothing parameter. And so when the code is running, the camera might move slowly, but its children jump instantly to where the mouse is. And that kind of gives that jumpy feel, because the cursor stays with the, where the camera's going. And so it's, I don't know, it's interesting. So when we get to Pugo's code, it's not the most beautiful code you've ever seen, but I think it works, it functions, and he actually has some better code than this, but I neglected to get it. It's actually really great because he's got comments that help me figure out what it was all doing. And basically it does the same thing as that first example, where it's kind of an edge panning. But you can edge pan even after you leave the edge. With something like this, with this kind of code, you can customize it to what you need. And ultimately, I think that's the best thing to do when you're coding your own games. You want to have and use the built-in objects or parameters, tools, I suppose, that whatever game engine offers you. So whatever game engine you use the built-in tools, but perfect them with code. This, in my opinion, is much better than this, unless this is exactly what you need. This, though, can be customized to fit what you need if the game engine isn't perfect enough. That's why code in a game can be so beneficial. And I'm sure anybody who makes games should know that, but I don't know, this kind of solidified that for me. And experimenting with these things are really cool because I just thought they're awesome. I have over 450 subscribers now, and that blows my mind. Like, every YouTuber says that, but honestly, it's amazing that so many people want to watch my stuff. I'm coming up on 500 subscribers, and I have the coolest 500 subscriber special. I probably shouldn't oversell it, though, because then you're going to watch it and be like, wow, that's really dumb. But honestly, I think it's really cool. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I'm never going to ask you to subscribe. And I'm not saying other YouTubers shouldn't do that. Like, honestly, do what you want. Just me personally, I'm never going to ask you because you ought to know. If you enjoy my stuff, then obviously you know what to do. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this slightly new type. Again, this isn't going to take away from the content that I am making. It's just going to be filler, something really easy that I can make and put in where I just talk about whatever and hopefully benefits you guys as well. I hope that you guys have an awesome time, day, whatever, and talk to you later.